Hi there, this is Robin Hart of the Home Loans with Hart team of CMG. This is a weekly market video where for those inquiring minds who want to know a little bit more about mortgages. And yes, you may have gotten the notice it's a little bit late in the year, but what a year it's already been. This is the first chance I've gotten to start sending off these videos. So let's just dive in and get started because it seems like it's going to be a busy year this year. So check out the rates. The 30-year fixed is at its lowest levels so far in the last like 9-10 months. You're looking at for the 30-year fixed, these are 7-day averages over the last 7 days from pretty much 200 lenders across the United States. 30-year fixed came in at 6.15, while the 15-year fixed came in at an average of 5.75, and the 30-year VA and FHA came in at averages around 5.8. Now, what's happening? Well, consumer confidence continues to fall to its lowest levels. It's actually at its lowest levels in more than a decade. That's right. It's back in 2012 when it was this low. Yes, that's right. Uncertainty builds a lack of confidence in the markets. People start holding on to their money a little bit longer as much as they can and buying less money. And investors get a little bit skittish. So it can affect the bond market. So who knew about that? All right, and what's the Fed doing about it? Well, pretty much nothing. The Fed actually announced today that they were keeping rates unchanged at 3.625% to the irksome of POTUS. Now, why? Well, there may be actually a little bit of schoolyard bullying going on because the DOJ is trying to pressure Jerome Powell and the Fed to lower rates earlier than they want. Truthfully, now is a good time to remind you, though, that the Fed only controls the bank-to-bank overnight lending rates and not the long-term yield of long-term mortgage rates like mortgages. So basically, that's kind of controlled by the bond market. So not actually controlled by the Fed. The Fed controls short-term rates, think pretty much car loans, and think credit card rates. All right. Other than that, now you've heard the rumors, several podcasters, all kinds of online influencers, a whole lot of people tell us it's cheaper to rent than it is to own. So finally, we hear from someone that is both a renowned American financial expert, self-made millionaire, doesn't sell homes, doesn't work in the mortgage industry, doesn't work in the real estate industry. His name is David Bach, and he joined Stephen Bartlett on the Diary of CEO. You can listen for it yourself. Just Google Diary of CEO or David Bach. Both you can find. And David Bach basically makes the case for home ownership helping to be a part of your savings mindset. Now, who is David Bach? You may never have heard of him if you're not an avid financial reader, but he is a speaker, author, television personality, and an entrepreneur. Pretty much mostly you'll recognize the titles of his books. All of them are New York Times best-selling books. His entire resume is about helping everyday people win at the game of life when it comes to money. Check them out. They're Latte Factor, Finish Rich Workbook, The Automatic Millionaire, Smart Couples Finish First, and The Automatic Millionaire Homeowner. So check out his books either on Half Price Books, Amazon, or even your local library. And of course, check out Stephen Bartlett because guess what, man? That guy's podcast is super helpful at pointing out some great details that you might need to know about. So other than that, what's next? Well, yeah, that's right. As if the news wasn't bad enough, we are back to another potential GOVIE shutdown. So you thought it was over, but the battle has only begun. And now the big argument is funding DHS and more specifically ICE. Don't like hearing about it? Well, neither do I. So if you want to get some direct access and don't like what you're seeing, or you like what you're seeing, I don't really need to know, let them know. You can find out who your congressman people are. It's www.congress.gov/members/find your member. Or you can just Google Find My Congress Member. It'll pull up the government website. You plug in your address and they will let you know exactly who is your representatives and senators, how to contact them. And it's simple as that. You just go to their website, email them, let you know what you think. All right, now let's make this happen and have a little bit of fun. Check this out. With all the bad weather this week and the terrible news to always hear from coast to coast in Minnesota, it's nice to hear we are back in some cases to neighbors being helpful neighbors. And it's the case where some DC heroes help to shovel out their neighbors out of trouble after the winter storms. Check this out. While the city workers were focusing in on the major thoroughfare, these neighbors all got together in DC residents and basically shovel in hand went block to block carrying their shovels and walked to clear the sidewalks for the elderly, for the young, for the disabled, and even just the overwhelmed. They didn't care. They were just there to help. So we love this. Need to see more of it. I think it's awesome. Okay, great example of what we need to be. Now, here's our Hearts meme of the week. And guess what? It's home buyers comparing loan estimates for completely different programs, which happens all the time, by the way. So if you love Chris Pratt, take a look at that because, yeah, you don't want to do that. All right. Now, I get asked all the time, when's the best time to buy? So if you're curious, best time to buy? Well, it depends on you. So give me a call and let's chat it out and see if you're ready to take advantage of the available deals on the market. Other than that, if you like this video, please follow us on any of our social media outlets. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and the artist formerly known as Twitter. I am Robin Hart with the Home Loans with Heart team of CMG, where we are here to help you every day become a homeowner. Have a great week, and we'll catch up with you soon.